Welcome to Prague in the Czech Republic for the first ever IFSC senior event. My name is Matt Groom and I'm joined by a route setter, Cody, in the commentary box. Cody, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
It's really, really good to have you here because I've been asked so many times to have a route setter in here to explain what's going on. So you are the expert here today. Now, before we get cracking, that's our audience, and you can see the temperature, 17 degrees. It does feel hotter out there. It's a bit like a desert, but there is a wind blowing through the stadium, cooling things down for our athletes. And Cody, that's your work of art there on the stage. Are you excited to see the athletes on it?
Oh, we're thrilled. I mean, the route setting team, we've been spending so much time and energy, and just really looking forward to seeing these athletes perform in these boulder problems.
Awesome. Well, yesterday was the qualifying, so let's catch up on the qualifying and look at our highlights video from that. Prague hosts the 4th Boulder World Cup of the season, and it's the first senior IFSC event to be held in the Czech Republic. A certain home crowd favourite was back in the mix, so let's have a look at who qualified. Jean-Won Chon has made every semi-final so far this year, and he continues that streak here inside of the top 10. Mejdi Schalk won the first 2 comps, but then he had a break during Salt Lake, and he's back climbing 4 out of the 5 boulders, including one last-second buzzer beater. Team Japan are always strong, and the 2 medal winners from the last comp, Tomoa Narasaki and Saratu Anruku, cruised through in the top 5. Will new dad Tomoa bring home another gold? Wanting to build on his first senior medal was Toby Roberts. He's on a great run of form at the moment and flashed 2 boulders and climbed 4 on the way to his next semi-final. Adam Ondra is from the Czech Republic, of course, and he made the decision to start his season here in Prague. He got through to the semis, so let's hear from him. Adam, first of all, incredible to have you back. There's been an Adam Ondra style hole missing in the IFSC. Is it nice to be back here and also in Prague?
On the top of that, being here in Prague is amazing. Honestly, like, this round was incredibly unnerving, and on the top of that, having like the first boulder with like the worst style that you can imagine. So during the round, I actually was thinking that maybe I don't even have a chance, but thank God it looks optimistic that I should be able to make it for the semis.
Having exploded into the senior circuit with his first medal in Japan, Hannes van Dyssen is getting everyone's attention. It was high time for a chat. Hannes, first of all, what an incredible year that you're having. 2023, what happened to you?
Well, I don't know, I think I just grow in like every style a bit. Like I train really hard on like slabs and coordination, like a lot of redoing boulders and like repeating so I can really feel the movement. So I think I did a lot of this, and think in competition it's really important to have this feeling of just every movement. Like it comes a lot back in the competition, so if you already do it a lot on training, I think it really helps to improve in the competition.
Let's have a look at the final results. Mikael Mauem found something special in his group, and he's through in second place with an incredible 3 flashes. Team Japan, always strong, have 5 athletes in the top 20, with Kayotani Ritsu highest in first place. Celebrating his 85th World Cup participation, a record number, Jerne Kruder is in the semi-finals and will climb again. Well, that was the story of the qualifying, and these are the athletes who have made it through. Colin Duffy will climb first as he qualified in last position, and Mikael Mauem will climb last as he qualified in first position. Now, Cody, I want to ask you something. Adam Ondra, we saw him there in the qualifying. We all know how good he is. Was he a part of the process of setting these boulders, or do you just sort of ignore individual athletes and just set a general round for everyone?
No, I mean, we did really try to do our best to like be completely as unbiased as possible, right? I mean, we're not thinking about one athlete. Yeah, I mean, everyone's been talking about Adam all week. The organizers, people in the, as you're walking by, and that's all well and good. So you're hearing the name a lot, but yeah, we can't be playing any sort of favoritism or anything like that.
So there's no cracks for Adam Ondra?
No.
That is fair enough. Well, Colin Duffy comes out onto the stage. If you're new to climbing, well, this is how our competition works. It starts off nice and slow. We have one athlete at a time on the mats. In the middle, we'll have 4 climbing at the same time, and then things will chill out towards the end as we get into the top qualifiers, and we'll be able to concentrate on a few. But bear with us in the middle because things, well, it gets chaotic, carnage-filled. It's good fun. Right, so Colin Duffy on this first boulder, very physical paddle-style coordination moves.
Wow.
And he goes into the zone there straight away from Colin. Cody, how hard is it to read, to do a move like that? You read it, it's obvious, but how hard is it to perform it like that?
It's really difficult. I mean, the athletes, though, thankfully have been, training these styles more and more as, time goes on. They're getting more familiar with different variations of these movement patterns. So that helps a lot, identifying and then being able to execute. But it's still very difficult. Colin is really good at this style, though, which is really helpful. And honestly, kind of a surprising flash right there for me. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, that coordination stuff always fascinates me because it's so much of it is like a learned movement. It gets into your body, and then by the 4th time, you sort of know what to do. So for Colin to flash that is impressive. But he struggled with the top sequence, and it's an interesting boulder because it snakes across the wall, goes from left to right, and then back to left. It's aesthetically very pretty.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was one of the Czech Federation setters, Vojta and Pierre. Their kind of vision quest here, creating this movement pattern, and then also having a pretty nice aesthetic design, with the yellow at the bottom, the green and the red. And, aesthetics for sure are something that are kind of tertiary considerations for us. They're not the number one thing, right? Fairness and then performance are more at the top of the food chain there, so to speak. But it's nice when they all kind of work out.
Now Colin's struggling with that second time through. So having a little think about this, it's not the most tiring sequence of moves, but it is still powerful to be able to launch off that starting hold.
Yeah, absolutely. The moves are individually very physical. When you put them together, right, you're just using a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers trying to perform that. And also there's a ton of timing involved, where you're putting your hands and when you're putting them, where are your hips in relation to the holds. All of these things are really integral to completing the movement. And as you can see, I mean, now he's on, I believe, his 3rd attempt here. Oh, and he's sticking it this time, yeah.
Yeah, a little foot slip at the beginning, and then this knee bar in. Is that something you guys built into that boulder?
Not particularly. It's something that kind of just naturally occurred due to the nature of how the movement pattern, what we wanted to see. But then you work with it, right? Like, it's there. We're not going to try to avoid this knee bar situation, so we had to make sure that the upper moves were set in such a way that it's not like so forgiving to have this knee bar.
All right, well, Colin's through that section, slaps the final top hold. He needs to match it with both hands, gets the toe hook in control, and Colin Duffy is off with a top. Now, this is a good time to explain how the scoring works in climbing. If you look to the bottom left of your screen, you saw a box filled halfway for a zone hold. A zone is generally somewhere in the middle of the boulder, and then the top is the final hold, and that yellow box will fill all the way up to show the athlete has completed the climb. Now, Cody, the zone situation. It's a rule that's changed over the years and been adjusted because you have to use the zone now. And that's just, what, center of gravity, center of mass, moving away from it, or how should we think about it?
Oh, that's actually a great question, because I think depending on who the delegate is, at the event, that maybe that line changes a little bit, and so it's not always crystal clear. Which is why we have video playback, which is why we have the video review, which is why the coaching staff for these athletes can appeal calls made by the judges in real time. And that way we can do our best to ensure that the competition is fair for every single athlete coming through.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, because judging is fundamentally, it's subjective. It can be a personal thing. Obviously, there's the rules,
right?
But and we've seen it happen where judges change their minds. There's appeals, but it blows my mind that you guys can think of all those things. And I know it's your job, obviously, but like to work out, okay, there's the zone. How are they using the zone? It's very complex what you do.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. So we consider a lot of this throughout the week, but then also when the delegates come through, we as a team we walk through the boulders with the staff and talk through these situations, talk through what are the possibilities of movements. The folks, the judges, the IFSC officials, they know their stuff. Like, they're not route setters, but they know how this is going to shake out, and they're able to provide like a really nice perspective for us to have this conversation. And sometimes edits are actually made based on their suggestions or what their perception is of how this scenario will unfold.
Absolutely fascinating. This is why I want a route setter in the box, but trying to get one of you guys to come and talk to me is very difficult. You can be a bit introverted.
Yeah, tend to be, and then especially on like semifinals, days when they kind of shake out like this. I mean, we had a fairly late night last night.
Yeah.
Not because anything went wrong. It's just due to the nature of the way that the events unfold. We end up kind of burning the midnight oil, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll talk about your work times later because you have an intense schedule. But right now, Yannick Floet is launching himself across. Yannick from Germany. Alex Magos had his first World Cup of the year, but he didn't make it through the semi-finals. As we know, Alex is more of a lead climber than a boulderer, so perhaps not unexpected, but he will be cheering on his teammates somewhere in the audience. And Yannick just takes a moment to brush the holds, making sure everything is clean. And Cody, I mean, you guys have been setting on that wall for a while, and you've had curtains up. So actually, you have to deal with hotter conditions than the athletes might, perhaps. Because it's like a greenhouse.
100%. Yeah, it's actually pretty wild how good the conditions are when that screen is away or that covering is away. The wind has been pretty steady all week, honestly. It's been warm for sure. But then we actually made some considerations based on temperature and humidity and wind going into qualifiers yesterday.
That's another factor you got to think about. And there you can see him using his thumb on that bolt hold. That's allowed, right?
Correct. Yep. You can use the bolt hole. You cannot use a screw hole. It's a very subtle difference, but it is a difference nonetheless in the rules. And so athletes will get called off if they are using like a T-nut hole, for example. But bolt holes are fine in the hold, and screw holes are fine in the volume. So it can be tricky.
This is some nasty crimping, mono crimps of screw holes.
Yeah, and it happens. You'll see athletes do it, and it sometimes helps.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Brooke Rabatou, I think she kind of, obviously it had been done before, but her standing in one in Salt Lake a couple of years ago is iconic for sure.
Absolutely.
Right, Yannick goes again. He's struggling with that catch on the right hand.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to skip kind of that third blue pill volume there in the middle, that middle three of the green, which it's possible to maybe just kind of bypass it, but I think actually it'd be quite difficult. So kind of going in the sequence is going to keep your center of gravity and kind of where you want your body weight going horizontally through the wall. Kind of keeps your trajectory, I guess, true is the summary of that.
Well, he's having a long look up at it as the clock ticks down. The athlete's got 5 minutes to do each boulder, and it's on site, so they don't get to see this before, which is different from the finals where they get to observe the routes. But Yannick, again, it seems so hard to get some momentum going off the hips for that first move. I mean, you're not kicking off much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just arm power, right? I mean, there's nothing really to launch off of with your feet, so it just requires a tremendous amount of like upper body fast switch. We talk a lot about power and strength, and this is definitely more of a power situation for sure.
Yeah, and Yannick has that in spades as he pulls on once more. Hasn't got the zone yet, although he's touched the hold. As we discussed earlier, you have to use it. You can't just slap at it and go. So far he's had 7 attempts and no zone. But this is the nature of a boulder like this, where you have to learn the movement a bit. Colin Duffy, as Cody said, is very good at that kind of a movement, and it's when you look down at the list of these top 20, there aren't really any weaknesses in the athlete list. Like, they all could make finals.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the men's field is always just so competitive. I mean, you can see and you do see a lot of times athletes flip-flopping positions like all over the place. And so, we look at, the 20th 20th place qualifying athlete versus the first, and you might think, oh wow, there's like this massive, you know, differential. But in reality, I mean, Colin, in all likelihood, could very well be standing on top of that podium.
Absolutely. I mean, he's double gold medalist at Innsbruck last year, and
Right.
yet he's qualified in last position for this. And
Right.
it's something this year especially I've noticed actually. He can be, he just hasn't put everything together yet. Right, that's our scoreboard currently. Things will change a lot, trust me, by the end of it. But right now on the stage, we have a bit of a legend with the pink hair, pink chalk bag, Jörne Kruder, 85th World Cup participation. Crazy, eh?
That's pretty wild. Matt, do you know when his first competition was?
That is a very good question.
Not
no,
to put you
I
on
have
the spot there.
absolutely no idea when his first comp was. No.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
could find out eventually, but I
Yeah,
mean, I remember I was commentating as a co-commentator with Charlie when he won the overall in Munich, and it was such a special moment. And I've got a soft spot for Jörne Kruder. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
And we get to see Boulder 2 for the first time. Cody, talk me through this.
Well, just a pretty straightforward rock climbers boulder. There's not a ton of trickery or I don't want to say subtlety necessarily, but I mean, you look at the boulder, you can read the boulder, and now it's just, can you do the boulder? There's not a lot of like extra like timing or coordination or like you know, things built into the sequences in that sort of way. It's like, yeah, are you able to pull these moves in the amount of time that's allotted?
Yeah, a lot of slopey holds. There's a big toe catch, isn't there, on the left where his brush was just there. Or possibilities. Jörne starts going right and falls. Yeah, but 2 physical boulders in a row. Tricky for the athletes to sort of recover and recruit in that 5 minutes off.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it's actually interesting that you bring that up because just before the curtains dropped, we had, you know, a fairly good-sized conversation with the IFSC officials regarding, like, the ordering of the boulder problems. So right now you're seeing we're kind of going from right to left. And they were kind of hoping we could go left to right, and there were a number of reasons for that on their end, just due to the way that the organizational complexities of things that are happening on their end are going. So they were kind of hoping, oh, we could go left to right, left to right. But we, as the route setting team and our chief, Akito, we really pushed hard to keep this right to left. So actually ordering the boulder problems is pretty crucial, because if you think about it, at risk of me talking too much about this scenario,
No, it's fascinating.
Is that if you look at Boulder 1 and how much muscle recruitment and how physical and snappy you have to be to perform this, I mean, look, you're seeing some of the best athletes in the world take multiple attempts on this thing. What's that look like after you have climbed 3 boulder problems prior, right? If this were the last boulder, let's say. So we were really, really concerned that we would actually see very, very few zones and maybe no tops if we actually run in reverse order.
Yeah.
And so thankfully the officials were working with us in that.
That's such a good point. And also skin-wise.
Yeah.
You know, after
Yeah.
3 boulders in this heat, you know, you're starting slapping on those volumes. It's going to hurt a lot more. It's going to be more difficult for them.
Absolutely.
Now, Jörne did something interesting in that last go. He tried to bring his left hand through, almost like he was going to catch it with the right. So let's see what he does this time. He kicks off with his feet a little bit. He's slower than everyone else.
Yeah, he's definitely not pulling enough with his right hand on that pocket to really generate and gyrate his hips. That's really the key to doing that movement is using your own like body weight as a pendulum, and that helps you kind of propel through the movement.
Well, here is Colin in the middle section of his boulder. That underneath that hold, I know there's a lot of crack aficionados out there. I'm talking about crack climbing, of course. It's not a crack. I checked. You can't jam it. And I'm just saying that for the nerds out there who love crack climbing. You know who you are, but it's not a crack.
Yeah. We put that jib in there. We were testing last night. So there's like that black jib on the left-hand blocker. And the reason is that like if you were a little bit shorter of a climber, you could actually stuff a toe hook in there. Or if you were like hyper flexible and also really good at like squeezing in that tighter position. I wasn't able to put the toe hook in there. I was like, there's just no way. Like I'm a bigger guy,
Yeah.
and it felt really difficult. But then, yeah, Akito, he's a really small guy, and he was able to like pretty comfortably sink in this toe, and it did change the difficulty enough at the top portion that we were worried that actually, you know, we talk about unfairness in heights pretty regularly in climbing, but this was actually maybe a bit unfair for
And it's this move coming up here where he brings his left hand. So that's blocked.
Yep, so that's blocked. So right after this, he can't bring his left toe hook in. I mean, you might be able to get a scum still, but you're not going to be able to take all your weight off.
Yeah, and presumably, as Colin says goodbye, 14 seconds to go, and Jerne's going to have one last go, but doesn't have the power in it. Yeah, presumably as well is you have to think about safety. So
Yes.
an athlete shoving a toe in above their head that high up the wall is not ideal.
No, not at all. In a bunch of different ways, right? I mean, just from the fact of having their feet so high, but also, like, is it possible that there's, like, an unforeseen cam? Like, yeah, that'd be disastrous.
Yeah, absolutely. So much to think about, and this is very interesting talking to you about it. Well, Colin Duffy is leading the way at the moment. He got a top on the first climb, zone on the second, but everything can change, and we're looking for our top 6 athletes to make it through. And then from Israel, Nimrod Marcus comes out. What a season that man is having. He was incredibly impressive in Salt Lake. Qualified in the top 5, I think, I want to say. Didn't make finals, but... oh, sorry, did make finals. Oh, God, my brain is shut off. But anyway, Nimrod is on, and he gets underway.
You know, Matt, you were talking earlier about, you know, Adam, for example, and, you know, were you thinking about him, you know, while you were setting any of these routes? And, you know, my gut reaction was no, right? Like, we're not considering, like, there's no favoritism, right? Like, we're trying to create a field of play for these athletes, and it's vital that we're creating a fair field of play. So, like, thinking of these athletes in any sort of, like, oh, how are they going to do, like, should this favor them or something like that, like, that's just not at all what our role is. However, my caveat to that would be we do have to consider the heights and the spans of these athletes. So, you know, Adam is a very tall athlete. Oh,
hang on, look at this from Yannick. Left-hand latches. This is a quick send. This is his flash attempt.
Wow, let's go.
Oh, let's come back from... We'll carry that conversation on. Let's come back from that physical boulder that he didn't top to do that again. It's a confidence boost for Yannick.
Huge, huge. And I think his mental game is going to get a huge boost now moving into boulders 3 and 4.
And Nimrod, I said he didn't make a final. Yeah, he didn't make a final just outside. He was 7th in Salt Lake, so he'd love to get through in the future. So yeah, so athlete span, so that's something you think. So someone like Paul Gemf, for example, massive man, does very strange things on the wall. So you have to think about that.
You have to consider that. I mean, you're always considering it, but especially for semis, now you have like a really tight field of athletes to consider. So Nimrod is, I believe, I'm fairly certain, he's our shortest competitor in the men's field. And then you have someone like Adam, who's probably one of the tallest. And those are things that we're absolutely considering, because we don't want a situation where, like, let's say on the slab, Adam's able to, you know, kind of keep his hips in, drop his heels down to get a better purchase on like a really bad foothold, and then show control of his zone when Nimrod has to commit and do a jump. Like, that's just like inherent unfairness. So we have to really consider that.
But how do you test that? Because, I mean, obviously within a route setting crew, you have lots of different people, lots of different sizes, but do you occasionally get a situation where no one is tall enough and you then have to sort of like imagine what the scenarios would be?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so for example, I've been setting for Kai Leitner for like, since he was maybe, I don't know, youth C or D, like, you know, in the U.S. we have like DC, and like I know in the IFSC we just have BA Junior. So just basically since he was really, really young, and so, you know, as he got taller and taller and taller, like there's just no route setters who are as tall as Kai, right? So you have to just have empathy, athletic empathy on both ends of the spectrum. It can't just be like, oh, well, Kai can reach this, Kai can reach this. It's also just, oh, super close there by Nimrod. Yeah, just, again, summary, just making sure that we're creating the fairest field of play possible for these athletes to show their stuff and perform.
I love athletic empathy. I'm going to steal that phrase. That's
please
brilliant.
Please do. I didn't come up with it, that's for sure.
That's really good. No, I think it's a very good way of describing it, to be honest, because it is that. You know, you want to challenge these guys, but you don't want to make it impossible. No one's trying to trick them.
No.
Right, so Nimrod has a look up. He hasn't got that zone yet. Has slapped it, hasn't controlled it. And he's tried a few different methods through here, so let's see what he's going to stick with. A minute 24 to go on the clock.
He's looking pretty snappy. He's definitely propelling his hips more and more, and I think as you try that movement, you know, a few more times, you'll realize that you have to pull a little bit harder and really gyrate those hips.
Ooh, okay, so he might be going completely, thinking about going statically, but you guys blocked that, so presumably that's something you thought about.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, it's more of like a, hey, you probably shouldn't waste your time doing this, not so much like we think that it's really possible to do it that way. So cueing actually is like something that we consider quite regularly, and just maybe mentally being like, hey, like, you should consider this, or like, hey, maybe don't consider this, because when there's a you know, climbs of this nature, there's so many possibilities that it could be. Like, you could read it right the first time and you could execute. Example, Colin, right? He just did it. But Nimrod now is maybe having a little bit of frustration. He's trying to figure out, wait, am I even doing this right? Like, I read it a certain way. Maybe I just read it wrong. And you can see him now, like, trying to consider new possibilities, which is certainly a great athletic strategy. And it's also why we have to make sure that when these athletes are just going full tilt, that they're not going to try really, 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 really hard and then end up like breaking this beta for this intended sequence here.
Fascinating stuff. Nimrod, yeah, he called the brushes in with 24 seconds to go, but he was just going for the zone because he hasn't got it yet, and he won't get it. So time finishes there. Jan Vert on the right of the stage. Keep catching him, the official IFSC photographer. And do follow along with all our social media for updates throughout the weekend. Some wonderful pictures of the athletes backstage as well as on the mats. So yeah, the confirmation, both Jerne and Nimrod Marcus didn't get the zone on the first boulder. Max Milne will be up from the UK next, very bouncy, and I think he might have fun with this one.
I think so.
There he is on stage.
Yeah, for anyone who's, you know, follows Max at home, maybe on their Instagram or something like that, they know he's pretty solid at this type of style. So be pretty curious to see how he performs here.
It's new school, isn't it? This new school wave coming in. In fact, Martin Stranik put something up saying that he struggled with the sort of new school style, and it has changed over the years, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just different. Colin again launches left, and now he's landing on basically nothing there with his feet. I mean, there's a volume, but nothing to stand on.
Yeah, so we were playing with the angle change there quite a bit. So there is a bit of an angle differential comparatively to the wall above it, but it's not much. I mean, it's enough to just basically kick off of and compress.
All right, we're watching Jerne here. We'll switch back to Colin in a sec. Jerne falls, hits the mat hard, has a little look. And that Max Milne has a look as well. That shout was for Colin, who stuck the zone but then fell off. And Max is about to pull on again. We haven't seen him go yet. There is Colin. So yeah, he hit the zone hold. I'm not sure if he was awarded it, but certainly he stuck that move.
Oh, very nice.
Oof, so Max starts that journey. It's so interesting watching every athlete sort of do the same process in their heads of, like, you know, which hand goes where.
Absolutely, and you know, as the competition goes on, I mean, we have a tremendous amount of athletes still to go, but the more amount of time that an athlete doesn't flash the move, the more impressive Colin's flash becomes.
Absolutely. Well, there he is, and this is the jump we were talking about. So he goes towards the left, gets some swinging going on. Ooh, half hesitation, now launches, and this time holds the zone hold. And yeah, he has been awarded that as well. Now his left foot, no texture on that surface there.
Correct. Yeah, no texture, but I mean, it's not terrible. It's not as like glossy as what he's standing on now with his left foot, which is why you saw him hesitate there.
So is that the intended beater to press off that surface, or using the wall instead?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of options. I mean, basically what you want to do is get your right heel up. So at this point, it's kind of the athlete's preference to showcase what they like to do. Like, some athletes are going to stand on the back of that, probably, the back of that flat hold dual text there. Some might prefer the wall. You might even have some kind of just like pop up into the heel hook as well, and that's just really going to depend on, you know, what the athlete prefers. Interesting.
So the other two rest. Max gets going again, and he doesn't seem again to be just finding enough oomph, perhaps, on that first move to go right.
I'd have to agree.
Oomph is an official word. Right, here goes Colin again. Cody, you might find this difficult to answer because I never quite know this. Is this not a downwards dyno?
No, this one for sure is not. And, you know, we actually did talk about this quite a bit in the early versions of this boulder. You know, we set this boulder probably, let's see what he does here.
Yeah, he's got toe in.
So close. Yeah, the heel will be the way.
Yeah.
So it really depends on your center of gravity, your center of mass, what your starting position is, and where you're landing. So in this situation, you're landing at worst neutral, at best in a higher position. There's just really no way to stop it in a lower position. So for example, if we had, let's say, put a hold maybe closer towards where they're kicking off of, like on the volume, then maybe someone could argue that, like, because you're having to land in this like crouched position, that your center of mass is actually changing in a functional enough way to be considered a downward dyno. And then it's going to get into the real big nuances of you know, what is downward dyno and what is the exact definition? Is there a certain percentage of athletes that have to do it for it to be considered a downward, you know, and then the conversation ensues.
Yeah, I've heard a few of those conversations. It's amazing how like one line in a rule book can have so much controversy perhaps around it. But yeah, that's what you were saying. So he's not dropping down, he's at best dropping to the sideways, and he wants to go up a little bit.
Yeah, laterally for sure.
All right, so Colin gets the left heel. This part he's starting to cruise now, just a little foot slide to get that right. And you're saying maybe right heel up.
Right
on
heel,
that move.
absolutely right heel. And it's really physical through there. And then you also have to consider this is Colin's third boulder problem now. And, you know, these walls here in Prague, they're steep. You know, there's no hiding that, right? So it just leads to a lot of physical boulder problems as well.
Yeah, it's a good point about the steepness of the walls. I hadn't really thought about that. They're high and steep. But he's got a slab as the last boulder, so he can rest those fingers a little bit.
Sure.
All right, Jerne gets the left heel, reaches up to that blocked yellow volume you were talking about earlier. Frustration from him again. I think he's chewing gum out there as well. So Colin decides to skip everything on this final go.
Yep. And those are the kind of the moments that we have to consider as well, you know, and throughout the conversations of route setting and testing, and that like as the time ticks downward, what are the athletes going to do when they kind of feel like they're backed into a corner? What might they do? Is there going to be a safety consideration? Is there going to be a beta break situation? And so we just have to have those conversations.
Yeah. All right, well, Colin, we just saw him launch upwards in a last ditch attempt to get the top, but he didn't get it. So one top on the zone, two zones is leading the way at the moment. And we'll see Colin climb on the final slab in a couple of seconds after this. Or seconds, minutes, I should say. But Yannick is on that blue jump to the left. We have Nimrod Marcus and then Kokoro Fuji. Good to see him back. Not finding the consistency that we'd normally expect from him this year. So it'd be good to see him make more regular finals.
This is just like a really random, fun little fact. So Kokoro in Japanese, and I guess there's like different types of Japanese, and if anyone out there who's watching like speaks Japanese, they'll know like infinitely better than me. But apparently there's like different types of alphabets, and so Kokoro can mean heart. Like you have like a strong heart or like passion. And I think that's just really interesting because it really reflects his climbing style. So when I was in Hachioji for that event, and on the last day, one of the Japanese route setters told me this, and I was like, wow, that's just so cool. And apparently there's actually like a lot of that going on, like the family names and stuff like are representative of, So it's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. He got injured, didn't he? I think it left an elbow issue. He had something. But anyway, it's good to see him on the mats. Very physical set of boulders looking at these in terms of power required from the athletes.
Yeah, for sure. Very physical set, which I think is okay. I mean, honestly, you know, we want to do our best to set a really diverse round of competition, and I think we've done that, truly do. But it's also not terrible to like have a little bit here of like, yeah, let's show your stuff. Like, let's see your power. Every event has inevitably some sort of theme about it, right? So maybe for Prague, people will say, oh, that was a really physical competition, you know? And I think that's okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's good to see them working hard out there. And we saw a toe hook there from Nimrod, one of the first to do that. Everyone else was kind of grabbing with the hand and going to a heel. Yannick starts that crazy swing to the left. And that is that. It is more slopey than it looks on your screen, that foothold he's landing on, but there's not a lot going on there. And a big old crowd here in the stadium for the semi-final, absolutely packed, in fact. And we're sort of, how to describe where we are? We're in like it is a car park, but it's a very nice car park. On the right, we've got a castle. Behind us, we've got a sports stadium, and then a park leading off behind the wall. So it's a posh car park. Look at this from Kokoro. A possible method or not so much?
I mean, I'd find it to be incredible if that went that way. And honestly, if he does it that way, like, good on him.
Yeah.
Like, super cool.
Give
like,
him a pass.
Yeah, for sure. I think that'd be like pretty wild situation for sure.
There's always chat from people being like, oh, I want to see the route setters doing the boulders, but I've seen enough beta breaks over time that I honestly think if we put a video of you guys doing it, it would almost perhaps be a disservice to the creativity of some of these athletes because they come up with insane methods to do these climbs.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see. And honestly, like a lot of times people are like, oh, they broke the boulder, or they broke your boulder, and you see this all the time in like commercial route setting and competition route setting. Like someone might come up, like a member at your climbing gym, be like, oh, I broke your boulder, and it's like sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we're just chasing a feeling and not necessarily chasing like this forced movement. You know, a lot of times you'll see that. I think especially at competitions, like people think like, oh, this is the way. And I would venture to say that like for men's one, like we would really prefer them to do the beta that we saw Colin do, where you're just doing like this like tack, 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 tack flying through the air. That would be the ideal situation. But, oh, and there we go, Yannick.
Yes, smash that right foot on, standing right at the top of the volume. And now this is a very powerful sequence, but he's making that left foot work.
Looking good, yep. Sinks the heel.
Into the blocked final hold, needs to match it, will want to get, oh no, forget the heel, he's just one-arms it.
That was pretty impressive.
That's like a, what, a 20 mil edge, maybe a bit more, but he's just one-arming up it.
Yeah, I'd say 20 mil's pretty accurate, yeah.
Well, there you go, get your Beastmaker at home and try to one-arm that thing, having jumped into it.
And also it's steeper up there too, like that's actually kicked back quite a bit.
Strong stuff from Yannick, playing to his strengths, and he gets a top with 24. Nimrod leaves. You don't have to use all of the time provided, and sometimes the athletes will bail out a bit early to save energy and skin. Kokoromi Mod very rarely does that. He tends to climb right to the very end, as we can see.
Yeah, he has that heart.
He does, and he hasn't got his own, though, so this is his last launch, probably. And it's so interesting to watch the speeds, because obviously when they come on, they're fresh, they're doing powerful, quick moves, and it just drops off a cliff when they get tired.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's, you know, it's interesting to see, and it's like almost like you have a breath of fresh air as like the route setting team in this situation where like, man, thankfully we didn't reverse the order, right? Because you're seeing right now, so far, you've only seen Colin and Yannick achieve the zone.
Absolutely. Well, that huge cheer you saw was for that man, Adam Ondra. He'd chosen his home country to make his return to IFSC competitions. It's no secret that Adam Ondra wants the Olympics once more. He's going to be doing everything possible to try to get a place, and it all really begins here for him. And I was concerned, you know, and he said it himself. The first boulder yesterday in quali was not his style. He struggled. I think in fighting, you call it ring rust when you haven't been back on the stage for a while.
Sure.
And maybe Adam experienced a bit of that.
Yeah, it was interesting. I got a little, you know, nervous for him. He didn't look so good on that style, which he said is, you know, is not his preferred style. Which I mean, he knows better than anybody, right? But for me, I feel like I see him do that kind of stuff like fairly regularly. So it was a little bit shocking. But
yeah, I think a bit of nerves maybe. And it's interesting there as well. We watched Adam. Well, we'll talk about him in a sec. But here is Colin on the slab now. First time we get to see a slab. Less powerful, more techie climbing required for this.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm really curious to see how Colin works his way through here. I know we're all on the team holding our breath a little bit because we spent kind of a lot of time on this first move, which seems super simple.
He's going to... No, he's not going to do it. So you're wanting them to sort of jump and land, right?
Correct, and your eye right there just stuck the move.
Yeah, let's see how he gets through the next part. A slippy left foot, he uses the wall, and he bounces up to the top hold.
That'd be pretty wild to see that. Yeah, so Colin's trying to like walk his way through, and I think that's possible, almost like this little flamenco dance, if you will. But we were also really trying to get this little left leg hop, and then land left leg again, and kind of pincer your legs together on the left volume and that right little Dual-Tex flat hold jib.
Well, look, Colin's facing out. Yeah, so it's hard to describe this, but it's this next move. Oh, that's interesting. And you want him to sort of jump, land with the left foot on the volume, the right foot on the second black jib you can see.
Correct. And it's so finicky. I mean, you could try it 100 times and land it once. You could try it once and land it the first try almost. Like it's just so finicky.
One of those boulders. And I know because I toured it, the US facility has a no-foot zone they have, which is purely for no-foot boulders. So
Yeah.
Colin's well trained anyway.
Absolutely.
Let's watch it again. So we want him to jump. He's going to try to sort of flamenco his way across. Oh, well, that was more.
Yes. So he needs to be a little bit higher. His hips need to be a little bit higher. It needs to go a little bit slower. There's just so many things happening in this almost like 1-inch punch scenario that you have to execute exactly right.
Brilliant way of describing it. Right, Yannick gets a huge swing on as he launches into the zone, but misses. And you can see our scoreboard. Yannick Fleury jumps to the top after that top of Boulder 3. Colin has a chance, and Adam Ondra hasn't made much progress on this so far. Yeah, it was interesting that he decided straight away to go feet first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just Adam's mindset. He's always thinking outside of the box. And you can see that in his climbing style, whether that's outside or inside.
Yannick nearly makes the right foot stick. He's only once got up there, I think. And Max struggling a bit at the bottom sequence of this boulder. And here is Adam out with the right. Now he's got a better coordination sequence. If I was to put athletes into categories, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to anyway, Adam Ondra would be more old school in my head. So this coordination style move might not be his preferred style, but obviously it's something he spent hours practicing in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the Olympics are in his sights, then there's really no option. He has to be just the most well-rounded climber in the world, right? Or at least one of them. And it's really interesting. So we have 3 members of the Czech Federation National Route Setting.
Now Colin's through. We didn't see how he did it, but he made it. And now more blocked holds for that left foot. That left foot is good. It's
pretty good.
It's kind of, you're in a weird position, aren't you, on it?
You are. Yep. Let's see how he manages this situation here. This move's fairly difficult. Standing up on this right foot, pistol squatting.
Yeah, and it's a long way to the top hold, which is blocked again.
Oh, so close. And you're going to see probably quite a lot of that today.
Yeah, tricky boulder. Yannick goes again. Colin will start climbing. You can see with our split screen, he's in the middle of your screen.
There you go. Yeah, he did it. He did it, thankfully, and for us, like in that intended way, which is like really nice to see, because we, for sure spent a tremendous amount on that, even just that one move.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Right, Yannick, more traditional top, and he pops the foot. And a big scream of frustration. Colin again, right? This is his last chance on this. Yeah, I think he knows. It took him a long time to figure out that bottom sequence, not enough time to figure out the top sequence.
And it was cool to see that, once he did it that first time, the next time went right away. And it's just such a learned movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is the offending top hold he didn't manage to get. And his comp is done. His rotation finishes. And he will now spend time sitting in the crowd watching and updating the app to see if he's got in. Now, this man, Hannes van Dyssen, you saw him during the quali. Simon Lorenzi, what am I talking about? Hannes will be up next. That's his teammate, Simon Lorenzi. One of the best outdoor boulderers in the world. He's climbed 9A in Font, so super powerful climber. And I think sometimes people are surprised that outside grade doesn't always translate to sort of indoor climbing. I'm thinking like Will Bosey, for example. Not that successful on the IFSC scene, but now one of the best boulderers outside in the world.
Absolutely.
There's Kokoro again. His second boulder of the afternoon. Nimrod Marcus is on the jump to the left, and Yannick, there he is, trying to figure out this jump. It's so interesting that amount of work goes into 2 holds, you know?
Yeah, is pretty wild, honestly. But, we dig deep for these types of moments. And, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be, shocked if somebody found another way. And honestly, that's okay. That's the athletes being allowed to express themselves. And I would venture to guess that they're probably, and here we go on the top here. Kokoro, it's so close.
You can see his elbow on the left strapped up. That's the injury.
He was grabbing it earlier when he was on the first boulder problem.
Yeah, it was nasty. So we'll have to see how he deals with that. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think I'm always worried when a route setter tells me there's one method through a boulder, because it limits. And in 5 minutes or 4 minutes for a final, it's hard to work it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole conversation that's to be had about compelling movements versus maybe forcing movements, because sometimes you're just chasing the feeling, and you want the athlete to have that feeling on the wall and to display their skill set in relation to that feeling. And sometimes, you want to say do this thing, and so it really depends on maybe what we're hoping for, which may determine whether or not we're oh cool, they did that thing and they broke it, so to speak, that's okay, or man. They found a cheat almost through the boulder problem, and that happens all the time.
Kokoro launches again. We were watching Yannick trying to figure out the slab. He's brushing it himself there. See them really trying to climb quickly through this section. It's so powerful as he leans backwards into the undercling.
He's good at the style. He's trying hard, though.
Oh, he's going to make... Oh, he's not going to make it work.
Wow.
And a huge fall for him. He kicking into the wall nearly stopped that swing, but not quite.
And that's the way that we foreign it, and we thought that the athletes would likely stop that movement. I believe we saw Yannick do the same.
Oh, and Yannick nearly figured out a different method there, but I suppose that's why you block that far left, is to help prevent against that kind of a movement.
Correct. I think it's possible that you could kind of like pitter-patter your way through and then maybe grab that left-hand undercling to stop. I don't know if it's going to be all that much easier than doing the intended method, so maybe, you know, 6 of these, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, I'll have to find out.
Oh, Nimrod so close there. Now, I have to say, Matt, I really do enjoy the new method here of showing all the boulder problems at once with the live scoring off to the side. I find myself during these events, like in the past, like trying to refresh, you know, one phone and watching on my computer or something. So it's cool to have all the information just in one place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we are working on, and that, yeah, that split screen, we bring it in later on. Just watching here with 1 minute 20 to go. Yannick Flower jumped over Colin Duffy. So fairly low scoring at the moment, of course a long way to go. Only 3 tops seen, and this could be another one though. He got close, this time he's going to latch it. That's a good top from Kokoro there.
Super nice with a minute left. And he'll need that extra minute for sure for his upcoming boulder on number 3.
You asked about Yerne earlier on. This is his first semi-final since 2021, and so it's been a while since he got onto that semis, but I have yet to find out when his first World Cup was, but I will work on it. And Simon there misses the slap to the zone. Right, so this is what Yannick's working on. Right, left, and he's trying to get that left foot on the blocked hold.
Yeah, for sure. And we played initially with the methodology here, which is like a version of what he's trying, which was left foot, right foot, cross through, left foot also, right foot through, like here, then left foot back down on the volume, then right foot back to the jib. And that would have been like the pure flamenco. You know, you're doing all this like kind of subtle hot feet. And we did find out that little like pop over was quite a bit easier. So we went with that.
Yeah, and you can see Yannick obviously thought that was the method. Kept going for it, and a bit of frustration at the end for him. But he'll have to leave.
I don't think he has anything to really be disappointed about. I mean, he performed really well. You know, he got the zone on 1, tops on 2 and 3. I'm sure he would have loved the zone there on 4. That probably would have made him feel a little bit more secure going back there into isolation and watching the rest of his fellow competitors climb. But I think he should be pretty proud of what he's done.
Absolutely. He'll know it's fairly low scoring at the moment as well, so he won't be disappointed. And Yerne is having a long look at this masterpiece of a slab. You can almost see him sort of counting the steps in his head, you know. Left, right, left. So Jan Luca Posch came on from Austria on the right of your screen at the beginning, and he's in action, but right now we stick with Yerne as he tries to figure this out. Now this is what I would have thought. Left foot and then bump the right foot in, and this is now, he did an incredible double catch there.
Oh,
so like
really?
Elevator door style. He caught the zone with the
super.
right left hand on that other green volume. Gets a heel hook, and he's very low down on the boulder right now.
He is, yep.
He goes back, one of the taller athletes. Now he reverses.
There
we go, figuring it out. Yeah, so climbed himself into a dead end there.
Yep. He's finding that heel hook. Curious to see what that, or I'm actually just more curious what that wrap is on his knee, if that's maybe why he's trying to avoid any sort of left knee bar or left heel hook.
Yeah, you're not allowed knee pads in a competition. Adam Ondra gets the brushes in. Didn't get a zone on the first boulder. He's got a zone on the second, though. And perhaps that settled down those nerves that I think he was feeling yesterday.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of pressure that Adam is feeling right now. I mean, out of all the athletes who are here, he has got to have the hardest time mentally. Just everyone, everywhere who is here, Adam is at the tip of their tongue. And you even just walk around the vendor village here, and there's just like life-size cutouts of Adam just doing like wild climbing things that people are like taking photos of. And there was like a whole school bus of kids that arrived yesterday that just like wanted to like hug him and stuff. Like,
wow.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, he has a lot on his plate, and a new kid, and a YouTube channel. I was actually talking to someone about Adam, and I was like, look, do you think he's like sort of backing off a bit as he's doing more outside stuff? And the person I talked to was like, oh no, he is fully committed to this. He is giving it everything, and he's working his socks off in training to try to get strong enough. And now he powers up. Look at this smooth stuff from Adam Ondra.
Looking good.
Right heel in, out, final hold. You can hear the crowd starting to respond to this. They know their hero is one move away. Gets the left hold, he's got to match it, makes sure of the left foot, switches, and that is a big reaction from the crowd.
That was awesome.
Really good from Adam, so he is underway. Adam Ondra gets his first top of the semi-finals, and a big smile on his face.
Amazing work by Adam there. Really showed how strong physically he is, especially at that style, and that's really important for us to showcase that, like, that's a very valid style, and it's not just, you know, the new school or not just the, you know, technical slab things. Like, you know, all of climbing is valid, you know, and Adam right there just really was able to show his stuff.
Absolutely. Well, Adam leaves the stage pretty early on, so we've still got 3 athletes out. That is Max Mill from the UK. He's just having a rest. Jan-Luca Posch. Look at the strength. He's one-arming his way across, and then. Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. So he's static the first move and then found power through.
That's pretty impressive.
And now this is just pure power from this man.
Looking good if he can turn a little bit more through. Yep, he's found that meat wrap, so to speak, there.
Gets the top, he needs to match it. That
all right.
was something impressive.
He's psyched too, he should be.
Howie, yeah, he sort of one-armed his way up and then just found something one hold higher. And Jerne is very annoyed by the slab currently. Max launches up, as briefest of touches with his feet there. Judges have got to be watching. Swings. So high on that blue volume. And here is Jerne trying to bump this right foot in. I think he's been trying this move for a while now. Just frustration. It must be annoying because he knows that there's a trick to this, you know, somewhere in there.
Yeah, for sure. You look at this boulder, and you know, you might look at it right away, like when he was first viewing it, and think, oh, so close, and you know, think one thing, and then you actually pull on the wall, and you realize, like, oh, this is actually quite something else.
Yeah. Well, we saw him spending a long time trying to figure out the feet, but look at this. First person I've seen to make that work.
Super cool.
He's only got 2 seconds though. He's got the zone. Oh. Now I don't know if that's going to be counted or not. We'll wait to see. But look. So we knew it was possible.
Yeah.
And Jerne's just proved it. All right. Another rotation. And there is Hannes van Duysen. So as I was saying earlier, he's been on the talk of a lot of people at the moment, mainly for his slab skills. But he's also a strong climber. He's going to have to save those slab skills for later on.
It was interesting too, though. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't top the slab in qualies.
He didn't know, and it was very annoying because I had to cut a whole question I asked him because I said, "You're the slab master, you're the king," and then he didn't do it. So, yeah, unfortunate for him. Right, so Nimrod starts with the left, so he's going to have to bring the right through. Oh, hello. Wants to balance all the way down and catch that volume, and there's a fair bit of chalk on it that might make him think that's the way. Kokoro again starts his next boulder. Oh, trying to press with the left hand. Trying something pretty unique, but I'm not sure that's going to work. And Simon goes up for the blocker, and she was trying to crimp the blocker then.
That'd be quite hard.
Yeah. He had a thought about it. I've just been told by our stat master, by the way, that Jerne's first World Cup was 2007 in lead climbing in Cran, and 2008 for Boulder. So there you go.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Paul Higgins, for sending me that message. Appreciate it. Our stat man on the ground providing the info.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, just to consider the type of climbing and the holds and the amount of attention the media has given a climb, just like there's been so much growth since 2008. I can only imagine like what he's feeling coming into this competition today in semifinals.
Yeah, it must be like, what is my sport? What is this?
Yeah.
Not saying it's bad or good, but it's definitely different. And it's in the Olympics, for goodness sake, so things have changed. So Belgium has 2 athletes on at the moment. There's Simon, and he decides not to crimp the blocker, which is wise. That goes into the underclip. Oh, maybe he is still trying to crimp it. What is he? He's trying to jam it. Now, I said it wasn't a crack, and that's why I said it.
Man, yeah, that would be pretty wild. That's almost like yeah, that'd be pretty Cobra crack, you know?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Nimrod's got stood up as well on that left, but that right foot's going to be a problem in a second. Bobbles off. Yeah, it's very flared. That I'm not even going to call it crack. The gap up at the top of the wall, but yeah, he did go for the, you are right, Cobra crack mono undercling thing. If you don't know what Cobra crack is, give it a Google. It's a very intense crack climb. Hannes goes right. And Kruder didn't get the zone for that slab as I look at the score on the right. So just ran out of time. He's trying to press on that left.
Yeah, it seems like it. Seems like he is. He doesn't quite have the swing right either. I mean, it's kind of a variation of the swing that they encountered on men's 1, but definitely more exaggerated all the way through. And you can really throw off your motion pretty quickly. And if you don't have that trajectory right, there's just literally no way you can stick that move.
Yeah, and we did see him on the top left of your screen there, change from trying to palm to the more traditional method. I was watching Nimrod as well on the slab. Well, hang on, let's stick with Hannes here as he goes.
Super close.
Super, super close. Yeah, Nimrod had like a toe press for the right foot that seemed to steady that first movement. But then he's got to release it, and that seems to be throwing him off a bit.
And yeah, I think it's, I think it's still possible. I mean, yeah, for sure. We would like to see the athletes like all climb this movement in the way that we intended, but they're still getting the feeling. This like beta break cheat, so to speak, that maybe they're finding isn't like the end of the world for us, because the movement is actually still really hard in that fashion, and that style is still being represented. Now, if they like found a gap in between the volume and the wall and like crimped through it, that would be a huge bummer, because we're like, man, now it's just like that style is no longer being represented, right? And they're just like skipping through it, and it's kind of, yeah, not so good.
Yeah, frustration for you guys. Seems we've tried everything on this. Now he's got sort of a real shouldery move, and you can see he's gone into dynamic flick the left hand in. Cocker again. God, he's been swinging back. He's like a clock, this man. But hit the wrong bit of the wall there on his way through.
Do we have any way to know like how many attempts to zone that they...
Yeah, so there is it's a good question. There is an IFSC app actually you can download. It's free. You can download it. I'm not sure it's technically official, but it's there, and then that does show you a bit more information. So if you want to keep up with the scores, that's where it is.
Super, super. Yeah, I was curious if you guys have like just this awesome technology here, if there was a way for folks at home. This app though is, I mean, so useful. We use this like every day when we're setting here for during the competition weekend. Yeah, super, super helpful.
Yeah, so have a look at that if you want really updated stuff. There's a bit too much information to stick on our screens.
Fair enough.
All right, Yoshiyuki Ogata is out. Last year's defending 2022 Boulder champion. Max is on the slab at the end. Adam's back on M3. Just let you guys know the schedule for this weekend. We had the quali yesterday. This morning is the men's semi-final. This evening is the men's final. And then tomorrow it switches to the women. Women's semi-final in the morning at the same time, 12 p.m. here in Prague. And then the finals in the evening. Max trying to get facing the audience.
I think he's been watching a lot of Instagram recently, and you've been seeing that spin. It's been pretty popular. And we had a feeling that a lot of, we tried that just to see if it would be possible, and it felt pretty difficult that way.
Yeah, it's one of those real thinker of a boulder. Right, Adam.
That was really good. Really good swing on Adam there for his, I believe that was his second attempt.
Yeah, he's looking in shape. Max dances his feet across, trying to figure this out. Well, that's more intended beta, but maybe a bit too much of a swing to get into it. Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Yes.
Yes.
We'd expect him to.
Absolutely.
Oh, tries to work it out. You know, I'm not sure. I think it's only a few athletes have figured that knee bar out. A lot not either needing it or seeing it.
If he can really pull all the way past the center here, he'll be able in a much better position. There we go.
Smooth stuff. Matches the top.
Wants
to get the top of the wall.
It's really blocked. I don't know if you saw yesterday. I think it was Hannes topped Boulder in the same zone and went to go grab the top of the wall and actually realized it was kind of blocked up there by the banners and had a bit of a tumble.
I did not see that. Luckily he's all right. Yeah, I think Yoshiyuki was looking for a one-arm pull-up on the top of the wall in a celebration, but he did not get it. And Luka Posch was super strong on the first climb. He's had a few attempts on boulder number 2. Now you see actually the attempts there down on the bottom left. So although it's not on the main score, you can see it on that subsection of score. So he's had 3 attempts so far on it. And Max is still trying to figure this out. You can see the cogs whirring in his brain. He's looking to crimp the cracks in the wall. That doesn't work. And then goes for this jump. Better from him, and look, immediately makes it work.
Still got to get the zone.
The zone is a bit far away still. Into that blocked hole. The left foot is very good, but it's hard to see. Ooh, I'm not sure he would have got the zone quite yet. He might now. He should do now. Underclinging that volume. Presses his face into the wall, trying to get some kind of balance. Super awkward. Our photographer waits.
So if he can find this position here, he should actually feel a little bit more comfortable. Just he's a little bit smaller stature, and so being able to, there we go, he gets his left foot. Being able to perch up on that right foot, being a little bit smaller and having a little bit shorter hip to knee and knee to ankle helps him stand as opposed to a taller athlete.
And that left foot he's on now is horrible. Really small, really slopey.
Oh, it's so close.
Got the thumb catch, missed the top hold. At least he knows the method, though. I love watching their faces in this. I think it's a testament to how good a job you guys have done, because they seem to be enjoying the problem. You know, sometimes you see athletes just getting frustrated, like that's impossible. But everyone's come off that boulder, even if they're annoyed, they're kind of respecting it, perhaps.
That's so good for us to see. I mean, we want to see these athletes perform. We want to see them show their stuff. And so even if they can't do it and they're having a good time, that always feels really good.
Right, Max quickly through this time. Oh, but too quick.
Looks like he probably has enough time for one more attempt, but it's going to put a lot of pressure on him to do that subtle movement at the top.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go on the clock. The athletes have to complete it before that time runs out. It doesn't matter if they're a millimeter away, it will not count if the clock finishes. Then Luca ends his boulder 2. Adam nearly into the zone.
Close. He's got 10 seconds. I don't know.
Surely
it's
not.
Gonna be a buzzer beater if it is.
Yeah, I think Max is going to be buzzed out here.
Oh, Adam sticks the zone.
He does stick the zone. That was the shout. Look at this. He's one move away. He can't get it. Big frustration from Adam there. I think he missed that. Tried to miss the middle hold as well. And Max as well got called off. Adam leaves. And we'll wait for the scores to be updated on that one. But yeah, that could be important for Adam getting that zone at the last second.
I think it will be. Especially considering how hard the zone is to achieve on both boulders 1 and 4. That's going to be really important.
Well, time will tell as our semi-final story starts to make sense. Yongwon Chon is back. Seems like a long time ago since I was with him in South Korea, but we made some extra content there where I went and visited his house. He has 2 very small dogs, but that content will be coming out at some point, so do subscribe to all of our channels so you don't miss any of that. Right, let's see if he's in a slabby mood today, shall we? Brings the right foot down to the volume. And his eyes locked on that left foot.
Hannes making moves.
Yeah, he is. This is his flash attempt. He's trying to jam it as well, look. Oh.
It's interesting too that he, is trying that, and I think as the day wears on, I'd be more and more surprised if athletes can continue to do that methodology. If no other reason, then you can see the thumb chalk on the undercling. So it's kind of cueing you as an athlete, like, hey, here's this like big green flag of do this thing, which can be really helpful, especially as those athletes, later on come out. So I'm surprised to see that happen there, but maybe he'll learn now.
Especially considering there's always a bit of complaints whenever there is a crack and the athletes don't know how to climb it, and then suddenly they're trying to jam something that's definitely not a crack.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll go back to what I said though earlier, right? I mean, every climbing style is valid. Just because you don't like crack doesn't mean you're not going to see it in the comp. And they need to be prepared for it because, like you said earlier, the Olympics are coming up here soon. I mean, Paris 2024, and anything can happen between now and then in terms of preparedness for qualifying for the Olympics, and then of course the event itself.
Absolutely, yeah, they have to be a master at everything. Kokoro has got this far, but can't figure this out. He's trying to use that reach he has. He is a taller athlete to stretch over and get to the left. He's missed that right foot. Still missing it. Still missing it. Gets it now, but then loses the hand. He's gonna have to push right off that starting hold.
Right. And I think just like finding the balance after, even if you were able to push from there, would be quite a bit more difficult than just doing the move itself. But hey, worth an effort.
Absolutely, and he's got time to experiment. Hannes with the heel. He tries to jam once more.
Interesting. He just really doesn't want to pull into that bicep undercling, which I get, because in that position it feels very improbable. You have to get so high into that undercling to really start to feel it being more and more useful. So it's almost counterintuitive. Like you look at it at first and you're like, I definitely don't want to undercling that. But then as you just commit to pulling a little bit harder and a little bit more through it, it starts to feel better and better and better, and which then allows you to move out to the right and compress and continue on.
Yeah, it's a good point from Cody there, and you can try that in any gym actually. Any undercling always feels awful when you're underneath it, and it gets better as you get stood up. So Simon goes back to his chalk. Kokoro tries the step through method. What did you call it? What was the dance move?
Flamenco.
Is a flamenco different from a tango?
It is, yeah,
right.
It is, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely no expert in dance, but they are different.
But this is flamenco for sure.
I mean, I guess there's so many words like.
Hey, you used it.
Yeah,
yeah.
We just come up with phrases and stuff, and it can be exciting and fun for us throughout the week.
Absolutely, I love making stuff up. Right, Simon is through on his boulder as well, on the top left. He gets the right, but then pops off and falls. And Jeongwon starts going right. We haven't seen too much of him. He's been very consistent this year, regularly in finals, regularly in semi-finals. Really good to see him at that level. Do-hyun Lee, his teammate, will come later. All right, Hannes again, big puff out of the cheeks. Now, this is this undercling move we're talking about. And now he's got a higher left foot that will help.
That's really nice.
He still wants to jam it.
That's so wild.
I kind of want to see someone do it now. I'll be honest.
I don't know if I do, but that's okay. We can differ there for sure. That just seems just quite unreal to me.
Well, I think one of the only reason I want someone to do it is I know the group of people who will make a video about it if they do.
Sure. Okay.
White boys, you've been shouted out, but if they get it, then hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Jeongwon goes again towards the right. He's only got 6 seconds. He never gives up, though. And that is the end of his time. Kokoro again never gives up, and he leaves at literally the last second.
Yeah.
So, Cody, we're about halfway through this now. Paying out the way you thought it would, or anything come up that's different or interesting from how you expected?
The surprising thing is maybe no. Like it's kind of playing out more or less how we expected, which is actually the strange thing, because a lot of times there's like these little surprises or things that kind of come up that you're like, oh wow, I missed that or didn't think that was going to be the case. But so far, pretty much on par for the expectations of the team. But we know we do have still 10 of the best athletes in the world still to come, and certainly anything can happen. We were expecting a harder round, and we did prefer actually a harder round. Men's semis, or rather just any semis, men's or women's, tends to typically be a harder round than either qualifiers or finals, and that's that's better for us because then it allows us to put on a better show for finals and not be so concerned about the separation. If we've already got the separation here, it also helps us learn the level. So if, for example, we had a flash comp, oh, and here we go by Yoshiyuki.
Yeah, Yoshiyuki tops out.
That is a top, beautiful.
Big bang on the wall. He wants to hold on to the top of the wall. He doesn't get that opportunity, but he does get to celebrate. Adam dances left.
Very nice by Adam.
Yeah, good work from Adam. Techie moves, and I think it's easy to think of Adam as just a power climber, but you know, he's done some of the most technical 9As I've ever seen in the world, and he's making this work, and he's got the height possibly for this move.
He does, he does. The crowd is going nuts right now.
Yeah, everyone on their feet. We've got little kids screaming at Adam Ondra.
He's going to do this.
I think he is. He waits that left foot, gets just the thumb on the right, makes the top. He needs to match it, and he does. And that is potentially a finals place for Adam Ondra with that move. 3 minutes to go on the clock, and he will enjoy his moment in his hometown. Adam Ondra is back in a big way.
Wow. This sounds like super corny, but I seriously just got the chills.
Yes, oh, me too.
I got
the goosebumps. Yeah, I have goosebumps right now.
That was super cool.
It's the kids that do it for me. There are very young children in the audience just screaming in joy. So awesome to see. Now, moving on from Adam, Yufei Pan on the right. His last competition was in 2016. He's 32, and it is pretty good to see him back in the mix. There he is.
Climbed pretty well yesterday. I think he should be really happy with his performance. Probably a nice mental boost coming into semis today.
Absolutely. Well, Jan-Luca Posch goes left. Maybe it's the Olympic factor, because Zhang Kim as well. Oh, look at this. I'll talk about Zhang Kim later, because Jan-Luca Posch has made the jump. And he's very tall. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to skip this, but he doesn't, but pops the foot. Yeah, Zhang Kim was back in Salt Lake City.
Right.
I thought it was a typo.
It very well could have been, but pretty wild.
Yeah, she is back in a... I think, well, perhaps she's got Olympic aspirations. We'll see. Now, we're going to see a replay of Yoshiyuki Ogata, because we missed the start. So let's see how things went for him. So this was the move up. Again, tried to jam. No, he doesn't.
We both just went so close to the screen, like, no way.
I want to see it happen now, where he's got the left locked in. And then, oh, just a sort of pogo stick up catch to the swing. Matches. Good work. That was Yoshiyuki.
Yoshiyuki is definitely one of just like, from just like a personal fun, like watching climbing, you know, at home, like one of my favorite athletes to watch. And I got a chance to hang out with him in Hachioji with like the whole B-Pump team. And what a nice guy.
Yeah,
like,
he's lovely, isn't he?
It's so cool. Like, I feel like climbing, you know, there's just so many good people in the sport, but maybe you don't always get a chance to meet like these folks that you're watching on TV. And he's just like genuinely a very kind and good-hearted person, and his English is tremendous. Like, he's such a good English speaker.
100% agree. Lovely, lovely dude. And he gets nervous as well, which surprised me. He told me at the beginning of the season that he was like really scared. I was like, surely not by this point. But
Right.
all right, Jan-Luca Posch. Once again, he's got 44 seconds. He might have 2 goes at this. He touches the middle hold, bumps into the top, needs to match. Want to heel somewhere. Gets a toe. Oh, just holds the one arm. Please touch. Yes, thank you. Oh, don't celebrate before matching.
We've seen that happen before, yeah?
Yep. Heartbreaking when it happens. But Jan-Luca, and that jumps him right up the leaderboard as well. He's in 2nd place at the moment. And there is Pan from China. Haven't seen him in a while. Of course, COVID will have perhaps stopped him for a couple of years, but...
So it's looking like right now, just based on the results, 2 tops is going to be integral to getting into finals. I mean, that's just a prediction, but just based on what we're seeing so far, that's kind of my feeling moving into it. We do have some pretty strong athletes to go, so I definitely would not be surprised to see more tops, which could then bump up that final spot to be necessitating an even greater number of tops and zones.
Yeah, and it's a credit to you guys that those tops are in different places as well. It's not all the same boulder.
That's so good to see. Like, just on the results sheet. I mean, of course, you want to look at the boulders and look at, you know, see how it feels. Like, that's what's really important. But looking at the results and seeing like different climbers topping, different climbers flashing, different, you know, all these like different things happening, because then that helps showcase that we've created a playing field that's like diverse and well balanced, and we really strive for that.
Absolutely. Well, two-time gold medalist this year alone, Mejdi, is on.
Hannes on the first go. That's super impressive.
He can just pull stuff out, and he hasn't had the best round so far. He needs this top. It's an important moment for Hannes.
Looking really good. He's got to go for it. Wow.
Gets it, but loses the foot. And where we've seen some people swinging right to save it, he just couldn't.
Yeah, looks like he just kept his foot on that dual text there. Oh, Youngwon.
Yeah, he reads that move well. Root setters, sorry, the brushlers come out. That's our scoreboard. Remember, looking for the top 6. So Kokoro Fuji's on the bubble, and Colin Duffy getting pushed down. And Mejdi, he made this work the first time.
Oh, let's go, Mejdi.
Yeah, locks it off this time. He took a really nasty fall, actually, the first time he tried that. But now he's underway.
Still droppable here at the top. So him topping here will be really important, because you just lose so much energy after fighting through the top and then trying to work through that bottom again. Makes that top on the second try that much harder.
Yeah, he's looking good here. Goes left, catches it. Awesome work from him. Gets a high toe in to steady himself for the match.
And what a season he's been having, huh?
It's unreal, isn't it? Like, it's, for him, it's not a physical thing, it's a mental thing. Like, he had the talent, he had the physical ability, but he was not immature, but like he didn't have that athlete mentality last year, I don't think, that he's gained this year.
Sure.
He just looks so much more mature.
Yep. It comes with experience, being at this level, this field for, just, it's like getting your reps in, it's like doing more pull-ups, just like the same thing can happen with your mental game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, quick send for him. Jongwon, final hold, no body movement, super static on that. Oh. Yeah, they had to work for that. I don't think you rarely see him looking tired, and he looked tired then.
Yeah, he was fighting a little bit, but that was just so strong. Super tension.
All right, Simon, beautiful across into the starting holds. Isn't looking at his right foot because he can't really see it, and it's very toe down on that. Maybe not quite enough rubber. And Hannes, after coming close, has dropped the top since then, or dropped the move anyway. Yeah, Hannes needs this. Adam Ondra leading the way after that brilliant final slab. Simon has nailed this move.
He's got it down. And that's what I mean. I mean, he's just doing it, right? He's just like kind of got on repeat now, but then you've seen other athletes just like try and fail over and over and over and over, and you're just like beating your head into the wall.
Yeah. He got way more toe rubber on that right foot and has the right feet here set up, but does need to stand up. Such an odd move, because it feels like you can just touch the top of the wall, but he's got his fingers onto the volume.
That's nice, that's nice.
Very delicate up.
Just pistol squatting, and now just really has to trust that left foot, and it's hard to trust.
Well, he's spent a lot of time on Fontainebleau slabs, clearly, because he's finishing things off nicely. Good work.
He should be proud of that. That was very impressive.
It's going to jump him up to 6th. I don't think he's going to stay there, but important top for him. And Hannes hasn't had the success. He had the final hold, but bobbled his feet, and let's see what he can do with it. All right, there he goes with the left hand, gets the heel locked in. He's one move away, but again a foot pop. Have you got any questions for Cody as well? Hang on, we'll watch this as he swings once more. Jumps on, catches the left, and he's not going to have enough time. Head in his hands, and he knows he needed that. That was all important, and he's might have to, well, he's going to walk away from the semi-final without a finals place. Yeah, so Cody, if people want to ask you questions, do you mind them contacting you about route setting? Could you tell them your Instagram so they could maybe send you some questions if they have any?
Yeah, for sure. So my personal Instagram is cgrodzki, C-G-R-O-D-Z-K-I. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a message. And then I actually run a consultation firm for rock climbing artificial wall management, so to speak. So anything under the umbrella of commercial rock climbing, that could be competitions, that could be do a lot of youth athlete training camps, work at height provider programs, hold order. I mean, you name it. And the name of the company there is Syndicate Route Setting. We primarily operate out of the States, but yeah, definitely trying to venture outwards, into Asia and European markets, and So yeah, fire away. Anything you got for me, happy to help.
There we go. Any route set questions, send him a message. Well, Toby Roberts is on. Bronze medal in Salt Lake City. I watched him getting absolutely mobbed by Team GB after he did that. Oh, hang on a sec, though. Yoshiyuki Ogata.
Looking good, Yoshi. Come on, man.
Right, one away. He's got to bump into it. He's looking so solid. Doesn't really need his feet. He's still swinging around holding up. Just needs to match.
Oh, Yoshiyuki. Oh, man.
I love the fact he went left foot, right foot, and then just decided to drop all the feet and one arm it instead.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 flashes.
He has found something here in Prague as the sun beats down. Jan-Luca Posch, 2 tops. He's in a final position as well. If he can get this, it's pretty guaranteed.
Correction there. So Yoshiyuki did not flash Boulder 1. That was his second go on 1. But otherwise, really, really quick attempts.
Strong from him. All right, Toby has a look. Toby's actually doing a video series. So if you want to find out life from a athlete's perspective, do go check out his YouTube channel. He's got some videos up there. All right, Jan-Luca makes the jump.
Ah, so close.
I'm so interested by that left knee thing because I know knee pads aren't allowed, and now I'm trying to wonder who has to decide if it's like a bandage or a knee pad,
Yeah, I bet you 2 things have happened, or at least one thing has definitely happened. One, the IFSC delegates have looked at that and made a determination, and then 2, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a coach appeal to make sure that it wasn't in fact a knee pad.
Yes, there's no rubber sewn into the material. Not which anyone would cheat, but yeah, the coach's job is sometimes to sort of discover the loopholes and as you said, appeal it when they see something.
No, it's super important. I mean, the athletes have put so much effort into getting to this spot that, yeah, the coach's job is to make sure that every single thing that they can do to support that athlete through to the next round of competition, whatever that may be, is done. That is amongst all the other things that are part of their job, that is their job. They should be appealing things that they have concerns about. Even something small, this isn't quite in the same, it's in a similar vein, but earlier today, there was a coach who was like, oh, there's a screw missing in isolation. So I ran over and just had to put a screw in and make sure I had all the delegates with me, so that way it's not a bias scenario or something like that.
Okay.
And it's that's their job. That he was trying to warm up his athlete. The hold was flexing. Just simply the hold was flexing. He could have used another hold, but no, that's how they were warming up. So he just asked for it, and it went through this process, and it got fixed, of course. But yeah, just that's the coach. That's the coach's
And you
job.
had to have people with you to make sure that you weren't doing anything.
Yes,
Wow.
which is funny because it's literally just a screw. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it just goes to show how important it is to be
So
unbiased.
interesting. Right, Jan-Luca needs to stand up on this right, as you said, a pistol squat, and he's very low. I think he's going to try to go all the way up. Big span for him. And now you've said that, I'm concerned that people are going to start following me around. I hope not. I'll get a chaperone or something. Oh, look at this. Oh, from Pan. Helicopter spinning off the top of that move, holding his left arm there, but he's brought it back up, so I think he's all right. Yeah, Jan-Luca went for the uber span. He is very tall, but I'm not sure even he's that tall.
Be pretty tough.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of visitors now on this website app. People from all over the world. It's pretty incredible. You have a bunch of pull here, Matt. Brisbane and Germany and Tokyo.
There you go.
People watching in for sure.
Oh, good to see everyone wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us for this men's semi-final as we watch Jan-Luca again start to go. Look how much rubber he's got on that left foot. Press down on the volume. Now this is where he tried to span it before. He's got the toe in. He knows that left foot's there. He keeps looking at it.
This is why this move might be a little taller more difficult for him, because he is taller. And he's look at the way he's having to squat, where his hip is in relation to his knee. There's a lot of bend there comparatively to when we saw Maximilian or some of the other smaller competitors working through that sequence. So he's trying to maybe find a way that's going to be preferred style for him, which might be launching off the right and trying to skip that left foot altogether.
Could be, or maybe thumb press in and then bring the left foot up or something.
Right.
But now he's stopped with 5 seconds to go. And Toby didn't make much progress on Boulder 1. He leaves. Good round so far. Hope you're enjoying this, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Green. I'm joined by Cody, the route setter here. Cody is so good. Genuinely, I've learned things during this stream that I did not know.
Really?
Especially that, yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many facets to this sport and so many people's jobs you know about, but you don't really know about. And
Sure.
I think people at home will appreciate learning about the work that you put into it. Do-Hyun Lee cleans his hold, and his teammate Jong-won said to me that Do-Hyun is literally his son, and I said, actually? And he was like, no, but, you know. There's a big old thumbprint on the hold showing where the athletes have gone before. Actually bumps up, gets the right foot into the zone, changes feet. Oh, fingertips on the undercling.
Just a little low on that left hand there. Needs to be just quite a bit higher.
Good work with a minute gone. Hannes is on the slab. There he is. Now, come on, Hannes, don't let me down. Do this well, please. Otherwise, I've got to take your title away. Oof, he looks so in control when he did that, but they just missed the left foot. And look at this from Do-Hyun Lee. We'll watch that in a little bit. We'll see a replay of the beginning of that, but good, we just saw the top for him, so he leaves with lots of time left on the clock.
So vital to be finishing that Boulder 1 early, having that extra 3 minutes of rest in addition to the already allocated rest that they get. I mean, you know, that means he's having roughly 7 minutes of rest before then he comes on to the next boulder, whereas a climber who doesn't do the boulder and is fighting to the last minute really only gets that 4-minute rest window. So you're nearly doubling the amount of rest you get, which then increases the opportunity that you do the next boulder problem.
Yep. Hannes trying everything on this slab. I feel like it's a slab bingo here. He's done every move. That was the intended beater that he just tried, or similar to anyway.
Oh yeah, he's learning it now. Now he knows. Now he knows.
I think he scraped his knee there, but I think he's all right. No blood call yet, and this is Mejdi. He's in 8th already, and he's only halfway through the thing. Yeah, went for the jam, changed his mind. And Jong-won is tries the swing again. He's got that top. Yeah, so do send any route setting questions you have to Cody. If you've got something specific, maybe about one of the boulders, about his process. We don't often get route setters here, so use this opportunity if you're at home and you've got a question you're desperate to ask. Right, Hannes standing up. He's close now. Figured out the sequence with 2 minutes 15 to go. Rocks back and forth, trying to weight that left foot. I can't quite make it happen. Mejdi as well with 2 minutes on the clock, looks over at the clock. The athletes can see the clock from lots of different angles, and that's often what they're looking at. The coaches down in the audience aren't allowed to help them, so they're never usually looking at the coach apart from just a shout of frustration. Right, let's watch how Hannes did this move, because he cruised it just now. He wants a brush on it. You can see, well, let's see Do-Hyun Lee's top of Boulder 1, shall we? We just caught him finishing it, and this is from the bottom, so he got the left hand, whoa, so static again.
Wow, that's so awesome. So cool.
Pull that zone hold back towards him, and then look how quick he is through here, no hesitation, easily through into the final hold. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, replay team. Jong-won starts the swing. Oh, big slip, dry fire almost with that right hand. It's a bad right hand. It looks better on your screens than it is in real life. Hannes is trying to swap the feet, does. Good balance from him, and he's not holding on to a lot underneath.
No, not so much.
Slowly stood up on that right foot. He's not going to be able to see the left foot at all from this angle. He knows where it is vaguely. Now he looks down towards it, but he's only got the side of his foot, needs to edge on it, now gets it secured. And that is going to be a top for Hannes van Duysen.
So nice.
Well, we'll wait to see his rank, but he needed that boulder. And yeah, there we go. See, outside of the final, he knows how important that was on boulder 3. Boulder 4 he's just done.
Yeah, I'd love to give the shout out to the route setting team here, and honestly the Czech Federation as well. Czech Federation has been so wonderful to work with throughout this week. I mean, every federation is tremendous, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much value and excitement in bringing one of these events to any given city. And there's a lot of pride in that as well. And so they've really gone a long way. So I just wanted to say thank you from all of us to the Czech Federation. And then the route setting team, Akito was our chief from Japan. We also had Olga Niemiec from Poland, Pierre Breuer from France, and then we had the Czech route setters as well. So we had Denis, Vojta, and we also had Kaito from Japan, and Jan as well. So eight-person team, definitely a very diverse team, which was really nice to work with. And so, yeah, just wanted to say thanks to everyone for just such an amazing week. It was super fun.
Yeah, big up the team. Well done. Pan now, 1 move away, gets just 2 fingers. Now goes into the locked off crimp, swings his feet back, gets a toe. He should match from here, and he does. Yeah, I should just say, we had May in Japan, who is a route setter, but not for the event. So when I'm saying it's great to have a route setter, I mean a route setter who's actually set these boulders.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm talking about. And
yeah. May actually set for the U.S. National team selection this March in Mesa Rim, and heard wonderful things. I didn't get to work with her myself, but everyone was just really glad to work with her.
Yeah, she's a cool person. Right, Toby is trying to figure this out. He's trying to get a toe in underneath. Oh,
all right.
Just enough rubber to make that work.
Good for him.
Important top for Toby Roberts. Didn't get the zone on boulder 1, so he's now underway and on the scoreboard. He will be happy to have a rest as well. Right, this man, Serato. Well, there's been a lot spoken about him because, having said that, as he pops the foot straight away. But this young man is a bit of a prodigy, isn't he? He's been coming for a long time, and people who are in the know keep talking about him.
He's a pretty amazing competitor. Watching him in qualifiers yesterday was definitely a sight to behold, and it shows by his ranking where he's coming out here today.
Good work from Serato. So his teammate Yoshiyuki, who's got 3 out of 3, way in front at the moment. He'd love to finish things with 4 tops.
Yeah, Yoshiyuki will be the first to tell you he's like enjoys slabs, but isn't they're not his top performing style. I know he's been working tremendously on them. I was talking to him the other day, and I think he spent like 3 hours on 1 slab at B-Pump and was just like trying over and over all these different methods and just like really pushing it. And I think that's really cool for me to see, because a lot of times when people say like, oh, I'm going to go training, I'm going to go to the gym and go like work out. I don't know, maybe it's just like a me thing, maybe it's from the generation of climbing that I come from, but that means like going to do physical things. Like I'm going to go, like I said earlier, like put my reps in. I'm going to go do my pull-ups. I'm going to do my fingerboard workout. I'm going to go get laps in on the lead wall, whatever that may be. But for Yoshi, that meant like, no, I need to work on my weaknesses. And my weaknesses are slab. And it doesn't like necessarily like look cool, quote, to like, when you go to the gym, it's like, oh my God, that's Yoshiyuki. Oh God, look what he's doing.
He's doing pull-ups, are you?
He's like falling on the slab. Like what? But that's how you get to this level, right? I mean, to have that like honesty with yourself and say like, this is the thing I need to work on, and that's why he's here. That's why he's at such a high level, day in and day out on the World Cup stage. Really
good insight there into his process. Right, Serato goes right with a pat. Yeah, especially B-pump slabs as well. I mean, rumor has it they're impossible. So if he's spending time working one of them, then
my goodness, they're so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the boulders in Hachioji, like for the World Cup, were actually easier than the boulders that were on like the wall for B-pump when they had their kind of like mock competition. They were just so incredibly hard, which is really cool to see, though. They're really cool.
Absolutely. He's got 2 different shoes on, I think. Yeah. So he's got high angles and I think it's a high angle pro on the right. So interesting. We're seeing a lot of athletes mix and match shoes depending on the holds required.
We do it a lot in testing. Maybe not so much with like actual climbing shoes, but it's kind of silly, but we'll keep like one, you know, trainer on and then like one climbing shoe. And sometimes it's like kind of like for this situation where like you might prefer to have like this type of rubber for this type of hold, or like, you know, maybe more of a flat open surface for this type of hold. But both of those are necessitated in that one movement. And also, funnily enough, this is like kind of a strange phrase, but like to save foot skin, like taking these shoes on and off every single like minute of every day for a week, you just like ends up becoming quite painful.
Wow,
So,
literally never thought of that.
yeah.
I've never lost foot skin.
Yeah, I set like we worked on a lot of the slabs in kind of throughout the week, and so my feet are just like killing me from all this. So it's actually not quite a bad strategy.
Nice, very interesting. Right, Yoshiyuki does run out of time though, so it won't be 4 out of 4. It'll be 3 out of 4. And I don't think he got the zone on that. So.
No, he didn't.
But yeah, but he's right up there at the moment.
Did get a question in here, and someone wants to know. If there's any types of moves that root setters like a lot, but that competitors don't enjoy as much. And that's a really interesting question, and one that I like really don't know how to answer. I think it would like, this is like super cop-out, but it would probably come down to climbers like individual performance and what they prefer. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, like, you know, as root setters, we might have to be, you know, moderately well-rounded at all of the different types of styles, but we might have preferences. You know, one of my friends likes to call them like your superpowers. You know, you might have these things that you're just like better at for some reason. It could be anatomical, it could be your training, it could be like previous sports, right? Like maybe you know, played a lot of soccer growing up, or a lot of hockey or American football or something like that. And that might, you know, be part of your superpower. In any case, real quick here, I just want to see Dohan.
Yeah, he goes up in the underling. No, it's a very good question. So keep sending him to Cody. And look at this from Doyon as he works his feet. Fascinating
So strong.
sequence.
So strong through that undercling.
I think he was looking for the toe. He's just trying to find something for that. He does look for the toe.
Yeah, he wants it.
But that's why that blocker is there, right?
And you can see him struggling to find it. And
just slap for the easy option, which is the option. Matches good work from Dohyun Lee. I tell you something that you guys seem to like, the athletes hate, is dual tex.
Okay, yeah, actually that's really good. Yeah, that's a great one.
They always, oh, look at that. What is that left palm? Why are they trying to do that?
I think it's just like the nature of the swing and how you're trying to stop create opposition, basically. Like, you have to stop in some form or fashion. So how you choose this opposition is ultimately up to you. But, you know, in this scenario, right, the compression is the opposition. I mean, that sounds like kind of silly, but sometimes just like palming in that way might feel like you're going to create that stopping point a little bit sooner.
And that was that move, that left palm we're talking about.
Yeah, and so that might be like the natural thing for him that he's feeling while he's kind of moving through space there. Maybe it's helping him a little bit. I'd also venture that maybe it's throwing him off a little bit.
Yeah, it's strange to see it, because you think the obvious is the sort of the double catch.
Right.
Well, Meji might alter that. Meanwhile, Zhongwan tries the face-out method, realizes it doesn't work, and now is trying this long stretch with the left foot and a bump into the right foot. It's blind, though. He needs to instinctually trust it, and he doesn't quite get it. But look at this from Meji once again, and changing it, and looks straight away, catches the zone. Gets a left heel locked in, rocks into the side pull, and now needs to work out how to not stand on the slippy bit of that hold. He's right on the very edge, and he goes for the big move to the Gaston, doesn't get it. Xiongwan getting closer on the slab. He's got 2 minutes left, which is time enough to work this out. And there is last week, wasn't last week, was it? 2 weeks ago, Tomoe Narasaki won in Salt Lake City. He's back near the top spot of this semi-final. Qualified in 3rd place. And I've been told he's a new dad. We were wondering whether Akio had given birth when he was in Salt Lake City and how much trouble he might be in for missing that one. But
pretty fair.
Yeah, which is pretty fair. Yep. But yeah, congratulations to Tomoe Narasaki.
Yeah, been a lot of talk and wonder, like, is this going to be the next, you know, climbing prodigy?
Undoubtedly. Can you imagine the genes?
Right.
Like Tomoe Narasaki and Akio Noguchi combined, wow, that child is going to have finger strength. I don't know what to call it. Next level finger strength. All right, Samoa does launch up, though. Oh,
Yes.
beautiful from him.
So satisfying to see that, just the execution there.
Presses up. Oh, struggles a bit rocking. What does he think? I think he's thinking about throwing all the way to the left, but now decides better of it.
That right hand there on that volume, so really interesting, like a little, I guess, behind the scenes type of stuff. So all those are bolt holes in the volume, which is like a little bit of a, like, I won't call it a bummer per se for us, but it becomes a problem for us for root setting, because if you know the rules, you can't grab a bolt hole, even on a volume. You grab a screw hole, you can't grab a bolt hole. And so what happens is like the climber isn't actually probably getting all that much purchase out of these bolt holes, but it becomes a judging issue, and there's like a technical problem. So, Meji right there executing the move. This might be a buzzer beater here, Matt.
It might be. He jumped into this Gaston before. He's going to try it again.
So close.
So what did you do to alleviate that problem?
Yeah, right. So there's a couple different methodologies. I was talking with Christoph, who's one of the delegates here, and basically the easiest solution was kind of at the last minute to pop off the green hold, pop off the volume, and then backfill the T-nuts with bolts.
Oh my goodness.
So that way it's completely smoothed over. And I know you can't really see this at home, but I'll show you here, Matt, so you can kind of conceptualize. So basically, yeah, we pulled off the volume and then, back threaded these bolts just so that it's completely smooth to the touch. And that way I can tell the judge, or Akito can tell the judge, or whoever's having a conversation with the judge that says there's no possible way to use this bolt hole, so that you do not have to worry about a technical incident about grabbing a bolt.
That is a brilliant behind the scenes. Perhaps if you could post that on your Instagram later on, people could have a look at it.
It's actually not a terrible
if
idea.
If that's allowed. But yeah, go on to Coda's Instagram to look what he's talking about, because it is super techie and interesting. And if you're into that kind of thing, you're going to love it. Right, Toby Roberts misses the jump down. Serato climbs up powerfully towards the zone. No zones, no tops for him so far. He's on boulder number 2. High up into the undercling, slaps to the second to last hold and comes down. Yeah, this route setting technicalities, when I did it with May in Japan, she was literally taking photos of jibs being like, oh my goodness, I've never thought of that. And like, it's so interesting. Like,
yeah.
Everyone has their sort of like thing. Right, Ritsu Kayotani qualified in 2nd place. He's on the first boulder. And Pan is finishing off his competition on the slab. And Toby needs to find something here pretty rapidly.
Got a couple questions here, Matt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, pretty cool. This is actually really awesome. So this is a pretty common one that we get, and it's also probably the most difficult to answer. Maybe more difficult than what do root setters like and climbers don't like, which I think the dual text answer was great. This is basically just asking what the grades are of the boulder problems, whether font or V grades for 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Like what would we give them?
Hang on, hold that thought.
Yes, and Raku.
Yeah, he's trying to get the toe in. He's one move away. Slaps up, brings the left foot in, does his foot match we've seen almost everyone do, and I think he'll top out, and he does.
There we go.
Right, go on then. So what grades are we talking about for these, or is it impossible? I know the answer to this as well. That's why I'm asking.
It's really hard. We don't talk about grades at all throughout the week. Like, it just doesn't happen, whether it's in the pre-planning. Oh, we're getting so close here with Toby.
Yeah, gets the Gaston in, tries to turn it into a pinch, thumb pressing.
You can actually grab a little bit on top there, so that's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it's going to be quite the way.
So you don't talk about grades?
No. We talk about, it sounds kind of silly, we talk about level. It's like, and again, it kind of comes back to this athletic empathy, like who is the field, who are we setting for, and then what level do we want to see, how many tops might we be predicting, or would we prefer to see, how many zones, how many attempts to top, attempts to zones, things like this. So it sounds like kind of a bummer, it's like kind of a cop-out answer, so to speak. I'd say that out of any of the boulders, you could probably give a grade to, it would be Boulder 2, just because it's like a more traditional climbing style, right? It's like holds and physicality. There's not so much like trickery or timing or like learned moves. But even then, I don't want to quite give grades. I'll just tell you this: they're really, really hard, and that's why you're seeing some of the world's best athletes struggle on them.
Okay, so I'm going to push you further on this in a sec, but Toby is now getting a right heel in. Reaches up, so controlled. Look at that. Bumps it into the, almost like a pinch. So, Boulder 2, we haven't got anyone on it right now, but is it in, if we're talking font grades, are we in the 7s or 8s?
We're in the 8s.
In the 8s,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That is a the closest answer I think you'll give me, so that's good to know. But it's interesting because I talked to someone a while back and they were saying, look, this if you were in a gym, this problem would probably be like 7B.
Sure.
But the time limit makes a big difference.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, you only have so much time to learn this and figure it out, and you have to balance your rest and your attempts kind of throughout that and manage your own pressures.
Yeah, super tricky. Right, Pan, back and forth, trying this hop and skip and a jump, misses it, and the minute buzzer goes off.
I guess I could provide a little bit more insight and maybe a little bit more clarity, but it might also just make things a little bit more complex. But I'd like to think that, you know, on the more straightforward climbs, this is not like a truism, like this isn't like a blanket statement, so bear with me. But on the more straightforward climbs, you're typically going to see a higher level of just pure difficulty, like just simply speaking, like a higher V grade or a higher font grade. On these climbs that take more subtlety, more timing, coordination, learned movements, you're going to see a lower grade in terms of just raw difficulty because we're factoring in all these other considerations, and we have to recognize that these athletes are also going to be encountering them on the wall.
Yeah, fascinating stuff there. Thank you. Cody, just remind us where people send you questions if they've got questions.
Yeah, for sure. My personal @cgrodzki, CGRODZKI, or @Syndicate Root Setting.
Perfect, there we go. Get those questions sent over. Well, the round finishes. Toby Roberts not successful, Pan not successful, he leaves. And there is our crowd baking in the sun. A lot of hats needed out there. It is hot, and there isn't quite the breeze there was yesterday. So tricky conditions for the climbers. It will be different this evening. Well, there is the man, Mikkel Mauwam, who I did not expect to qualify in first position for this. Super strong from him.
Yeah, it was so nice to see that name on top of the list. I mean, if you follow him on social media at all, you see the amount of training and effort that goes into his like day-to-day regimen. So it was really rewarding just to see like, on this end of things, like, wow, it's paying off.
Absolutely. Well, he's qualified in first position, our final athlete out. And now things will start to get a little bit more relaxed as we start to lose boulders. So this is the last time we'll see Boulder 1. So enjoy that in a second when we get to it. Tomoe Narasaki's looking. Now, that was the boulder that we reckon is in the 8s if you had to put a grade on it, which everyone hates to do, but everyone loves to ask.
For sure. It's a fair question.
Yeah, it is a fair question. Mejdi skips over. Yeah, I always think it's a bit easier to do that on lead climbing, is to put a grade on it, because it's different, you know?
Yeah.
Right, Tomoe underneath on the underclings. He reaches out to the penultimate hole, crimping the edge of that volume. Looks for the toe, can't get it because it's blocked. Will go for the slap, should stick it, and he doesn't, spins down. Now look at our top 6. Colin Duffy, first athlete out, is still in a finals position, potentially.
Amazing. Yeah, so this actually showing us that it's possible. I don't know if it's likely or not. We still have some really, really strong athletes to go. But maybe one top and zones and the rest zones actually gets you into finals. This means that it's a hard round. I mean, I know that sounds like maybe obvious to people who are like regular viewers, but if you're not like used to that, that's a fairly hard round. And for us, like that's nice. So now we know the upper end, and we kind of like also just know the parameters of what to expect, like, kind of like throughout the whole scope of things, and that can allow us to prepare for later on this evening.
There we go. Well, we'll watch a replay in a minute of Do-Hyun Lee, but right now we're sticking with Mejdi. How is he standing on that red volume? 2 feet on it. That's a good angle to show how blind that left foot is. Now, well done, camera team. As always, thank you very much. Right foot up. And now he needs to do this pistol squat. Oh, slow stuff from Mejdi. Doesn't want to leave the undercling. Now he does. No hands involved, though, just balance as he looks for the left foot, gets it on, and now he's 1 move away. He's in 6th. He kind of needs this to secure a place, and he's going to get it, makes the match. And that shoves Colin Duffy outside of the top 6. And look at this from Mauwam. He's left hand on, slaps right. Haven't seen many people drop it from there. No,
it's happened maybe a handful of times at best, but he also tried a different beta that time, which was a little bit more dynamically and kind of popping that left and right hand to squeeze, which is definitely possible, and it's a lot more risky.
All right, let's see Do-Hyun Lee, shall we? We missed him earlier on, so we're going to flip over to him after Tomoe climbs as we watch him go from right to left. Up towards the zone. He was so close. I'd called the top before he got the top, which is always a bad idea. looks like he's burning out a little bit. All right, let's see Do-Hyun Lee, shall we? This is on the swing, so back and forth. We missed this on camera. Good to see it again. Just got that left grab.
That was awesome.
And then set himself up for the top heel hook in, controlled at the moment. Interested to see how he's going to use this hold. Oh, just skipped it. There we go.
Wow. That is super strong.
Saw Jan-Luca try that, didn't get it. I think Adam tried it as well. Do-Hyun Lee makes it.
Another great question here, man. They're like kind of pouring in now. So yeah, this question is like, what are my thoughts on what fans think when they say the setting in a final was overbaked or undercooked, so like too hard or too easy?
This is. I just want to just briefly interrupt because we have been bigging up route setters, but obviously it's hard and people do make mistakes. It doesn't always go right, does it? Let's be honest.
No, definitely not. That's also great move there by Mikhail. Let's see him try to manage the top here. He's kind of running out of time.
Yeah, he dropped this move before, and he's really started to burn out and having to fight as he catches the left press.
This would be very important for him if he gets this top. So right now it looks like 2 tops gets you in.
Big moment.
He can do this. Oh my goodness! You heard that? I heard that scream from here, and we're quite a ways back.
Great work from him. Tops out, finishes, and good start to his comp. So carry on with your question.
Yeah, I guess it's just more of like, what do we think as route setters when like a round is like too hard or too easy? And, part of this just comes down to like, what is the preference of maybe the chief route setter of the event? Like, are they looking for maybe a harder event or an easier event? And sometimes that might be dictated by what the previous events, like what occurred. So maybe looking at the results back at previous comps and maybe adjusting if like we had a really hard comp. Maybe we don't try to like overcook things again and try to use that a little bit of that data moving forward. And then, kind of the inverse is also true. If things were a little bit too easy, maybe trying to ramp things up and learn from our, I won't say mistakes, but just maybe just like, miscalculations or maybe not predicting quite
And it's a
accurately.
bummer, isn't it? Like if it doesn't go the way it does and we have a Boulder perhaps doesn't work, so it's not like you guys just kind of go, and walk away. Like it hits you. I've watched it happen.
Yeah.
It means a lot when it doesn't go right.
No, absolutely. It's we always try to do our best. Akito, every day we finished our briefing, says, today we will try our best.
That's brilliant.
As usual. And
brilliant.
it's just it's simple and it's inspiring. Like we're just gonna do our best today, just like we did yesterday, and just like we'll do tomorrow. So it is, it is a bummer if things don't work out. But yeah, I'd say that we just try to use this data as much as possible to, move forward and try not to let our emotions like get the best of us if like a round goes maybe not.